Hello and welcome back to Now I See on COIC. Today we're going to be continuing with our story with Stephen. Thank you for coming back, Stephen. So on the last episode you spoke about the spirituality. Could you please expand on that a little bit more?
From the Western point of view, they are very interested in a lot of the social justice issues. A lot to do with helping the poor, like reaching out, evangelizing to the multitude. A lot of care is given, that sort of thing. But the spirituality that I found in the Orthodox Church is something that's very deep and personal. This sort of spirituality revolves around basically your relationship with God on a very him and you sort of level. And what I found was that the priests of the Coptic Church would focus more on that sort of thing, like building up this relationship and feeling more of a connectedness with Christ in that sort of manner. And
So why did you decide to join the Coptic Church and not go back to the Catholic Church?
Well, as I mentioned previously, like how they helped me out with theology and like the school, I knew people in there. But ultimately, at any point, like you said, I could have just went back to the Catholic Church. I was spiritually revived. I was fulfilled. I was like praying and being with Christ again. But the reason why I wanted to convert to the Coptic Church was that there was an especially beautiful family who I've never experienced any family that's so Christ-like, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. And there may be a few times in our lives that we might actually meet true Christians that behave and act as we are taught to act and behave. And they sacrificed a lot for me, and it basically was a sign that to tell me that like there's no reason to leave the Cops, and there's no reason to think we are all part of the Christian community. And so
can you tell us a little bit about your chrismation?
So the day of my chrismation, I cannot describe and put into words how peaceful that day was. When the priest put the oil on me and said the prayers, I didn't feel anything. There was no like visions of angels, nothing spectacular like that. But the day was just completely peaceful, and it's probably one of my most happiest moments.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process that you had to go through to get chrismated in the church?
So to get chrismated, normally you have to be a catechum, in that there is a requirement that you have to like read certain books about the Coptic Church. You have to like learn more about the faith, especially to some atheists who join the church. Like, you have to know these basic essentials, like, okay, this is what the Bible is all about, this is why we do these things, why we behave in this certain way. But when I approached the priest, he knew instinctively that I knew a lot about this, and I'd been dwelling on converting for a while. And so he allowed me to skip ahead and convert as soon as I'd like.
Yep. So how did your parents feel about it?
So when I first told my parents that I wanted to go to the Coptic Church, the first thing that they asked me was, "Are you trying to marry someone?" And so I said to them, no. And I sat them down and I explained to them why I wanted to convert, for all the reasons that I mentioned before: the theology, the love and kindness. And they ultimately agreed to it, because I was still Christian. I was still, I think they were more glad than anything that I came out of this whole experience a lot more spiritually enriched. They're Catholic, I'm Coptic, but we're still a cohesive family, and we live under the name of Christ.
So how did your friends support you during this decision?
There's this really great saying that there are actually 5 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and you. And the 5th one is the one that most people actually read. And what the saying means is that the way we act, the way in which we behave as Christians, essentially is what people see, what they read about Christianity. And I have to say that the way in which my friends have conducted themselves through their behavior, their reverence, their humility, and all their great aspects really did convince me to return to Christianity.
Do you have anything else that you would like to say to the audience?
I just want to say 2 last things. The first being is that more people should go out there and learn the history of the church and learn more about theology. I think that's very important. A lot of people are yearning for those answers that they're not getting. And the second and final thing that I want to say is I really want to stress the last point that I said before, and that is try and act as Christ-like as you possibly can to all those. It may not seem important at the time, but it does have its impact. Without my friends behaving in that reverent and humble manner, I don't think I would have ever considered making this spiritual decision. I think I would have fallen more into decline. And I really do think that the way we act in the manner of Christ, as Christ did, does in fact help a lot and does make a tremendous impact.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for coming in today. We've learned a lot about your life and it was really nice to hear about your story. Please tune in to our next episode of Now I See on COIC for a brand new guest. Until then, I'm Anna Choi. God bless.